accidentally released one half of my parachute because I didn't look at the handle I was pulling, and it released and got hung underneath my helmet. It made the canopy spin, and it was choking me unconscious at the time.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
How many years have you been skydiving?
40 years.
Over the past 40 years, how many jumps have you completed?
A little over 6,000.
What inspired you to be a skydiver back in the 1980s?
Well, I'd always liked thrill-seeking sports and adrenaline, and I used to race some motocross and had dirt bikes. All my dirt bike friends had kind of decided to start riding three-wheelers. And so I sold my dirt bike, and I was saving money to buy a three-wheeler so I could ride with my old riding buddies. And then I wrecked my car, and it was my fault. I just had liability insurance, and all that money I'd saved up for a new three-wheeler had to go towards buying a car so I could go to work, drive back and forth to work. And after buying a car, I had about $200 left, and I was really depressed. I was sad. I'm thinking, man, all my buddies are going to be riding all summer, and I'm not going to be able to join them. I'm going to take this last $200, and I'm just going to go do something just really fun, something really crazy, something really out there that I'll never forget. And I went and took a first jump course. After that, I forgot all about those three-wheelers.
Do you still remember your first student jump?
My first jump?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally remember it. It was in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, June 15th, 1985. It was Father's Day. And that was my little Father's Day present to me. It was a static line jump. And I still remember letting go of that airplane and hoping that thing opened, and it did. Then I couldn't see the ground control, so I just had to kind of fly it down on my own, but I landed okay in an open field, and they came and picked me up, and I was hooked.
Did you feel scared?
Yeah, I did. I was a little scared when I was climbing out of that airplane. I thought I might be that one guy that his chute didn't open, because I hadn't been around it, I didn't know how reliable the equipment was. But after a few jumps, I realized that everybody's jumping, and nobody's even using the reserves, and nobody's dying. And I realized that, this is something I could do the rest of my life. So I have.
How many times have you had to use your reserve?
I've had to use it 5 times. Once I caused myself as a student, because I was not a very good student, Ming. I really wasn't. I didn't have real good instruction either. I had 3 times within a 12-jump period, right after I bought a used canopy from a gentleman, it had problems. And then I went about 4,000 jumps, finally had one more malfunction after 4,000 more jumps. That's been over 1,000 jumps ago, so I think I'm doing pretty good. 5 malfunctions out of 6,000 jumps, yeah, that's pretty good.
Have you ever had a frightening moment in the sky?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I've had some frightening moments. The time I caused my own malfunction, that was jump number 7, and it was very frightening. I had accidentally released one half of my parachute because I didn't look at the handle I was pulling, and it released and got hung underneath my helmet. It made the canopy spin, and it was choking me unconscious at the time. So here I am with 7 jumps. I'm just a real beginner, and I'm spinning, and I'm being choked unconscious, and I'm losing my vision. And I finally realized that I'm gonna have to just dump my reserve parachute out there with this, because it's hung on my neck, and choking me. And when I looked down for my reserve ripcord, it came out. And then I realized what I did. And I grabbed it and I pulled it back down, and the canopy looked fine then. And I said, I sure wish I knew how to hook this back up. They didn't teach me that in the first jump course. So I had to release of it and release the other side, pull my reserve, and ride the reserve in. I kind of thought about quitting at that point. I was like, maybe this isn't such a smart deal. I'm laying on the couch in the back of the drop zone, and I heard some guys talking. They were like, oh, that's it for him. You watch. Oh, he'll never jump again. You watch. He'll be done. And some little voice in the back of my head said, oh, yeah, I'll show you. I showed him.
Do you still feel nervous or scared or anxious before each jump?
Usually not. I'm just happy and ready to open the door and let's go skydiving. Occasionally there will be a little bit of stress. Maybe I'm jumping into a strange location with a big flag or something, 4th of July jump maybe. Something of that nature. There's a little more pressure. Maybe it's a small landing area and I got to put on a good show. I worry about good performance, really. That's more what I'm worried about, is putting on a good show, not about, injury or death or anything like that. I got that part all figured out long time ago.
Have you ever been injured from skydiving?
Yes, and the only time I was injured, I was showing off. So no showing off, man. I got a few screws in my ankle from showing off. And I was at a big event up in Illinois called the World Freefall Convention. Several thousand jumpers would go there every year. All kinds of airplanes, 727s or MD-80s, big tailgate planes, little biplanes, hot air balloons, everything you could imagine to jump out of, they had it. And I'd went to this thing every year from 1991 until they quit having it. I think it was 2008. I showed up, and it was the third day of the convention, and they had one of the swoop ponds. You've seen these swoop ponds where the jumpers come in fast and skid across the water and drag their toe in the water and look cool, show off, basically. And I had done swoop the pond many times before in previous years, but I hadn't done it that year. And we weren't going to make it back to the main landing area, and we were going to have to land by the swoop pond. So it's like, well, I'll show them all how to swoop that pond. I've done it plenty of times. Well, the pond wasn't full, man. And I did a real nice swoop across that big pond. And when I got to the other side, there was about 2 feet of dirt sticking up. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I didn't have enough speed to come up over the dirt and land back on land. And I hit that dirt mound and broke my ankle. That's where that saying comes from, look before you leap. I should have looked at the pond before I went swooping across it, and I didn't. I just expected it to be full. As I was carried away in the ambulance, I look out the window of the ambulance and I see the big fire hose in the pond still filling it on day 3. I learned my lesson. 7 weeks before I could jump again. It seemed like a long time, but it really wasn't. I did jump a bigger parachute for a little while so I would land softer. I also jumped in some very supportive boots for a little while until I was fully, really healed. Any landing area for that matter. If I'm doing a demo jump that I haven't done before, they want me to jump into a place, I go out and I look at it. I see where all the power lines are. I see where the hazards are, the buildings, where the turbulence might be coming over some buildings if the wind's out of the north or the south or the west. You just have to go look because you got to be ready for it.